want some different shit. I might just hit your bitch out walking the park.
What's up, y'all? We join here with Lamar Moody. I'm Darren Randall. Welcome to Let It Be Known. We need to talk about the pretenders and the contenders that just came out today from the ESPN list. And we had a tough compare games yesterday with the Eagles, but let's talk about what we feel like are the winners and the contenders from the 2-0 teams that are still undefeated, because there's not many of the winners that we thought would be undefeated, and many like it's not. The Niners got our first L, Eagles they got their first L, and I don't think it's what we expected it to be. But first off on the list, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 2-0. They got them as listed as pretenders. How you feel about that?
This one was kind of a little tricky to me when I first glanced at it. When I seen Justin Fields and the Steelers as pretenders, I kind of thought the same thing. Like, damn, these guys are pretenders. They ain't really played nobody. But it's not really about playing anyone, because this is the NFL. Anybody can lose at any given time. Anybody can win at any given time. Everybody's a professional. But I feel like they actually are contenders. They have a really good defense. They're led by T.J. Watt. They have a backup quarterback in Russell Wilson, who look like he might come back and start if he is healthy. But we have Justin Fields, who is leading this team. They're 2-0, so I feel like they are contenders as of right now. I just feel like they're healthy right now. They have a healthy Justin Fields. Justin Fields, me personally, I never thought Justin Fields was weak. I never knew Justin Fields wasn't a slouch.
Yeah,
I just knew that he just had to get some weapons, and I feel like the Bears didn't really do that. But he's on a better team, a better organization. He's showing that he can manage the game. And a lot of quarterbacks nowadays, they kind of managing the game. And Justin
right.
Fields is doing the same thing, and he just has a better team around him.
See, Lamar, you know me. I ain't never been a huge Justin Fields fan. My Trey Lance jersey was up here a couple years ago, but now we on a different story. And Justin Fields, honestly, so far he's been doing all right. He hasn't been amazing. The first game they all got field goals, no touchdowns. This previous game they looked pretty good, but I do feel like they are pretenders. They're not going to be undefeated too much longer. I feel like they're
Mhm.
on a losing game is coming up pretty soon in their future. I feel like they got a good game just coming up. It's Steelers against who? Who they got this week? Steelers
The
against who?
Steelers. Let me pull it up right now. So the Steelers, they are playing in week 3. They're playing the LA Chargers, and they're playing them in Pittsburgh. So we got a pair of 2-0 teams coming up, and how ironic that the Chargers are on our list as well. So
So so there has to be a real pretender, and that's what I feel like. I feel like Chargers probably gonna give them the first little, but you never know, because the Steelers, like I said, they've been most pretty consistent, especially on defense. So that's gonna
yeah.
be a hard test for Herbert and them coming up.
I will say really quickly, I beg to differ. I feel like no matter the outcome of this game, the Chargers and the Steelers, I feel like they're both still gonna seem like contenders, because Chargers, they're a good team. They showed that they're through the first 2 games they're 2-0. They play really good defense. They have a really good running game. They're able to run the ball, especially with J.K. Dobbins. And then you got the Steelers, who's also able to run the ball. And
Yeah,
that added element for Justin Fields to be in the running game as well is, it takes their offense. It keeps the defense off balance, and it's gonna give your offense an advantage. So with Justin Fields able to be paired up with Najee Harris in that running game, and then you got George Pickens.
right.
These weapons that Justin Fields has is really good for him for right now.
And so we're gonna see what happens this week. And moving on to the next one, to the next pretender or contender, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So with Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, I actually do think they're contenders. They also have a really good defense. And Baker Mayfield has been playing out of his mind. Like I can admit that. Like for week 1, he had 0 interceptions, 4 touchdowns. I think he threw for almost 300 yards. I think he had like 290 or something like that. He has veteran receivers in Godwin and Mike Evans. So that's when you pair a quarterback and an offense like that and a pretty solid offensive line. I would say they're contenders for sure, for sure. I would say so, and they have a veteran head coach in Todd Bowles. So
I'm agreeing. I'm saying the Buccaneers are contenders. And I know a lot of people don't believe in him because of Baker Mayfield. He's been to the Browns, he's been to the Panthers, he's been to the Rams, he's been passed around the league. He's just another Geno Smith, but I disagree. He's a prior first overall pick in the NFL draft. And I think, some people are late bloomers. Some people just need that coach. And I feel like the Rams gave him that spark. And ever since then, he's just been rolling and rolling and rolling. He's taking the punches, delivering punches. Last year, we seen him in the NFC Championship game against the Lions. He gave them a run for their money. And I feel like
mhm.
he's going to be back this year, or the Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield are going to be back this year. And I feel like they are contenders. I'm not about to act like,
Yeah.
they're Super Bowl favorites, but they're contenders for sure. You can't overlook the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Number 3, we got the Minnesota Vikings listed as pretenders. Lamar, how we feeling?
All right, so definitely this team, I think they're somewhat of some pretenders. Don't get me wrong, they beat a really, really good San Francisco 49ers team
Right.
over the past weekend. But I don't know. I think they just something about the Niners. They just I don't know. No offense, but something about the Niners because they beat the Niners last year in Minnesota. So
Right.
also I'm thinking like maybe if Minnesota play them and Levi's, they maybe the 49ers gonna whoop that ass and get their
Right.
revenge. But as of right now, I really think the Vikings are pretenders. No, I like Sam Darnold, but I just don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's the type of quarterback that's going to lead the Vikings to like any type of playoff run or
I
anything
get
like
you.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I really do like damn, what's the run? Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones, the new running back for the Packers. I mean for the Vikings. He's played for the Packers last year.
Right.
I really do like Aaron Jones, but over Sunday he turns the ball over. I think twice, once on the on in his own touchdown on his own goal line. So you can't be doing stuff like that. And Justin Jefferson, it seems like that's their only target. Jalen Naylor has been breaking out somewhat, but it seems like Justin Jefferson is obviously their number one target or only target as of right now, and he just got hurt. Not we don't know the extended period timetable that he's going to be out, but that's their number one receiver. Seems like sometimes that's their only receiver on the field. But I think they are pretenders. Their defense is pretty solid. They shown it to be pretty solid, but I still think I think their division is pretty tough. They have the Packers, they have the Bears are pretty solid. They're 1-1, and then they also have the Lions. The Lions are really good too. So I feel like they're pretenders only because their division is really tough and they're led by Sam Darnold. They just have it's just way more better quarterbacks in that division than
I'm
Sam
agreeing.
Darnold.
See, I'm agreeing. I'm saying they're pretenders, but mainly, like you said, because of Sam Darnold. But I feel like Sam
Mm,
Darnold, honestly, the Niners, I feel like fixed them a little bit. Sam Darnold,
mm,
I think Sam Darnold he's got a lot of potential. He's got a lot of potential to tap into that he hasn't shown the NFL yet. But I'm gonna
mm.
agree, they're pretenders. I don't think this little fairy tale run is gonna last too long. Jefferson just got hurt. I don't know how long he's gonna be out, but honestly, I'm saying they're pretenders, but I'm also saying they're damn near contenders. I am saying he's bringing them to the playoffs, possibly. I'm not saying
Mm.
100%. I'm not about to stamp it, but I'm saying that they're a lot better than they were last year. So number 4, we got the Houston Texans as contenders. Lamar, I feel like this is a no-brainer. We already know where we're going with this. What's your thoughts on it?
Yeah, this is most definitely a no-brainer. Really good head coach, really good young quarterback that's still on his rookie contract, so you're gonna have him for a few years. I feel like
Right.
this team is actually not just gonna be contenders for this year; they're gonna be contenders for the next few years, especially with the addition
Yeah.
of Stephon Diggs. They have a really good trio of receivers: Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs, and Tank Dell. Really good tight end room. They have Brevin Jordan. They got they got the I forgot his name, but they got the tight end from the Dallas Cowboys as well from like 2 years ago. They have really good offense. Defense, especially, is really good too. Really good young defense. So I really feel like they're contenders. I feel like, especially too, when they get to the playoffs, they're going to make some noise and probably have a deep run.
They got Tank Dell, they got Nico Collins, they got Stephon Diggs, they
Joe
got
Mixon.
Joe Mixon, they got a good offensive line, they got a good head coach. You feel me? Like this is
And they got a solid stable of backup running backs too.
And
They
did
have
I
Cam
even say
Akers,
CJ Stroud? Man, I never said
CJ
CJ. They
Stroud.
said
Yeah.
CJ. That's my favorite young quarterback. And honestly,
Mm,
I think that the Texans they're gonna make a real push this year. They're gonna get the Chiefs around for the money. They're gonna get any and everything. Because I feel like last year that was just our boy CJ Stroud letting the league know that he's here. In the
mhm,
second year, he's gonna let y'all know he's probably one of the most fastest progressing young quarterbacks that the NFL's ever seen. I'm saying
mhm,
he even gonna challenge Pat Mahomes, and it's gonna be hard because it ain't like he's gonna win a Super Bowl, so it might not show how fast he's progressing like Patty because Patty had Andy Reid. So
mhm.
Andy Reid gives him that extra like Patty and Andy Reid just collab like this, but and it's a tough
Yeah.
duo. But
Yeah, but don't sleep on offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick.
yeah,
Slowick was up
He's great,
for
but you know Andy.
yeah,
It's
yeah, great, yeah, Hall
we
of
know
Famer Andy
Andy.
for
We
sure,
know
for sure.
Andy. We know Andy. Moving on to the next team, we got the Los Angeles Chargers. They listed them as pretenders. Lamar, how do you feel about it?
I think the Chargers are actually contenders. They ain't really.
Woo!
Yeah, I mean they played a pretty good Raider team week 1. It seemed like the Raiders
Okay.
were kind of trash, but hey, we seen in week 2 Raiders did beat the Ravens. Ravens are 0-2, but we all know that the Ravens aren't going to be 0-2 or 0 for too long, especially with MVP Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry on that squad and the pretty
Right.
good defense they have. So say that to say, yeah, the Chargers they have the Ravens backfield. They have J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, so they can run the ball. The only thing with the Chargers that's kind of sketchy is their weapons. They don't really have anybody for Justin Herbert to really throw to, any
Yeah.
serious weapons. They're still waiting for Johnston the first round wide receiver Johnston to really make a name for himself in this league. And it seems
Oh,
like right now Lad McConkey, the rookie out of Georgia, is their number one receiver. He's been balling. Um, but
Johnson.
Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert's been doing his thing, and the Chargers defense has really, really been solid. They only allowed 10 points last week against the Raiders, and then against the Panthers, it is the Panthers. But
Yeah.
like I said, it's professional. This is NFL. Everybody's professional. They only allowed 3 points against the Panthers. So in the past 2 weeks, they only allowed 13 points. They probably got one of the best defenses in the
Yeah.
league so far, and it's kind of ironic because we have Jim Harbaugh who's coming from the University of Michigan, and he brought over his defensive coordinator with him. So that goes to show you that sometimes some college schemes and like especially on defense can work in the NFL too. So
And that's why I'm saying you're right. I'm saying that the Los Angeles Chargers, I'm saying that they're contenders because they got Jim Harbaugh, and I feel like as long as you got Jim Harbaugh, nobody's got it better than us. That's he changed my childhood, he changed my Niner experience. So I love Jim Harbaugh. I'm a big supporter, and wherever he goes, he brings winning. You can look at the Niners, you can look at Michigan. Anywhere he goes, he's a quarterback whisperer. He turned Alex Smith's career into what it is. He turned Michigan's quarterback, what's his name? Fucking what's
JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy. A lot of people a lot of people believe that he's just a product of the system or a product of his environment. And I feel like Jim Harbaugh, he's a quarterback whisperer. Jim Harbaugh knows a good quarterback, and I feel like JJ is going to be good in the league. So I think the Chargers are pretenders this year for sure. Yeah, wait,
Contenders.
contenders. The Chargers are
Yeah.
contenders, not pretenders. Moving on, we got the New Orleans Saints. Lamar, contenders are pretenders.
So this is a very good topic because I got a few homies that love the Saints and they be talking crazy. But no, I got respect for the Saints. I got full respect for the Saints, city of New Orleans. They deserve it, man. It's been a long time coming. I feel like them starting off at 2-0 is no surprise. They play the Panthers. They whooped their butt, and then they play the Cowboys, which I yeah whooped that ass. Then they play the Cowboys, who I thought would be a really really like a way better game, more of a competition. But they showed that they dominate the Cowboys as well. So to be honest, in my opinion, I feel like the best team overall in the NFL, just not the NFC so far. Just it is only week 2, but I got to give it to the Saints. The Saints look really good, especially
Yeah,
offensively, very explosive. They got weapons. Olave. They have Rashid Shaheed, super fast guy. Alvin Kamara looks like he's back to his old self again. And they have like the Shanahan type of system, type of coaching. So I feel like all the pieces that's coming together for New Orleans is looking really good right now. And their defense is playing out of their minds. They had like 3 or 4 interceptions on Dak Dak
Prescott.
Prescott
Yeah.
last week. Yeah, so I fuck with New Orleans right now. But the only thing with New Orleans that is a little bit suspect, it seems like every time they get to the playoff, they already got some bad juju going on. Whether it's the Minneapolis Miracle or
Hmm.
they getting a penalty like a pass interference penalty that's not called or something. It's always something with the bad juju in New Orleans. But right now they're looking really good. They're looking like some contenders right now for
So
sure.
they got who, the Saints now coming. I mean, they got the
We,
Eagles
they
coming up this week.
Yeah, they play the Eagles in a big time 10
All
a.m.
right,
matchup. So it's gonna
all
be a good
right.
matchup this week.
Next team, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Mar, pretenders or contenders?
I would say Seahawks are contenders. I feel like even if they don't win their division, somehow like they can get a wild card spot. It seems like they're always up for a wild card spot. They always play really hard. They're always well coached. They have the new coach from Baltimore, so their defense is going to be really solid. They have Witherspoon and Tyreek Woolen, back there, at corner. I'm pretty sure they have a really good D line. They've been playing pretty well so far. They beat a really good Patriots team, a really well coached Patriots team, and then they beat the Broncos last week, who was also pretty well coached with Sean Payton. So, and I believe in Geno Smith. Geno Smith, like you said, last year or 2 years ago, they wrote him off, but he didn't write back, and
Right.
he's showing it. 2-0, a 2-0 start, and he's utilized weapons and Jackson Smith and Jigba. You got DK Metcalf, a really good running game, and Kenneth Walker, a really really good running back, and Kenneth Walker. So I feel like
Dog.
honestly, I feel like Seahawks are pretty much slept on. I feel like they're really slept on, and I feel like they might be like either the second or third best team in the NFC as of right now.
Moving on next, we got the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, contenders or pretenders, Lamar?
Yeah, I would say the Buffalo Bills just by watching them over the past 2 weeks. I say they're contenders because
Oh,
they did lose Stephon Diggs, their star receiver from last season, but like we mentioned, in our last podcast, that it seemed
Yeah,
like Josh Allen is playing better without Stephon Diggs. It seemed like he's better off without a star type receiver, because he was without Gabe Davis too. Gabe Davis was
right.
our receiver too, so he
Yep,
lost two of his best receivers from last year. But then this year he has some decent weapons that's able to catch the rock and do what they need to do.
yep.
And then you got Josh Allen, who can and is a threat to run the ball and use his feet. So we've seen that over the course of the past 2 weeks, and it's led them to get 2-0. And their defense have been playing really, really good, and they have a really good, really, really good running game. And James Cook, I think, has averaged over 100 yards in both games.
Dog,
So he's been
dog.
playing really, really good.
And me and you talked about this, Lamar. I said I feel like this is gonna be the best Josh Allen we ever seen. Like, cause we don't have to keep focusing on Stephon Diggs. Now the
Mm,
ball's getting spread out. He's trying to figure out who's my one, who's my two, who's my three. And really, he doesn't have no 1, 2, or 3. Really, he got receivers, and these are
yeah,
all just your guys. And he's just choosing whether if I'm gonna toss out to my running back Cook, which looks like Dalvin Cook in his prime, or I could
for
just
real.
throw it to I could just throw it to my dogs that I got out here on. And he really has no big like you got your rookie wide receiver Coleman. I really want him to get involved in the game because right
Mm,
now he's not even looking at him. I don't know if you've seen that little video where he was trying to talk to Josh Allen, and Josh Allen was just listening to this teammate and ignoring, or listening to that teammate and ignoring what Coleman was saying. I think
mm,
I don't know. I just feel like they got to get a better connection. I don't feel like
yeah.
that's on the top of Josh Allen's list right now, and I feel like
Mm.
he should move him up on the chart a little bit.
Most definitely, I agree. Just because we've seen that with Marvin Harrison Jr., we've seen that with the Cardinals. We've seen like they got their ass beat when Kyler didn't really make an effort or make it a priority to get that man open. But then you
Yeah,
seen week 2 they played the Rams. They blew out the Rams because they actually made a valiant effort to get their star receiver, their first round wide receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball.
man,
Marvin Harrison Jr. in the first 7 minutes of the game had 4 catches for over 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. So that's what
eating.
happens. That's what happens when you actually feed your star receiver squad. So like you said,
Build a little trust. Now, moving on to the last team. We got the last undefeated team. We already know if they contenders or pretenders. We got the Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar, do I even have to ask you if they contenders or pretenders, bro?
man, this is our arch nemesis from the Super Bowl. Yeah, they
We got a
definitely
little fun
contenders.
too.
Yeah, man, they definitely contenders, man. Anytime you got a guy like Pat Mahomes on your team that was able to score within 40 seconds and have the refs on his side, that's another story for another day. But I always feel like when you got guys like Pat Mahomes on your team, who's a gunslinger, who's a dog, who has a never die mentality, who's able to freaking throw the ball without even looking at you, who's able to throw no look passes. You
Yep.
always a contender. You always a contender. This guy reminds me of Brady. He has that never die attitude in him, and now he has weapons. Especially this year, they definitely contender. They have weapons. They started off sluggish or slow last year, but this year they have speed. They got Xavier Worthy, fastest man in NFL. They got Hollywood Brown, who's on IR, but he will. I'm pretty sure he will make it back in the playoffs. And
Yeah.
that's what you really want. You really want your
Well,
stars really perform in the playoffs and be healthy fully in the playoffs. So
and
that's what that's really what it's all about.
how fitting is the prior Super Bowl losers and the Super Bowl losers before that, we got the Eagles and the Niners talking about these weak ass Chiefs, man. But they contenders. We already know who they are. They going for
Yeah,
their third Super Bowl, and I don't know if anybody gonna stop them. I love to say the Niners gonna stop them. I love to say the Eagles gonna stop them. And you know what? I hate the Eagles so much
mm,
that I would still rather probably see them win a championship than I see the fucking Chiefs win another one. And I don't even hate the Chiefs, but that shit just makes me sick thinking about the losses. Like, damn, they should they have won that game? I'm like, damn, both of them.
man. Especially too when like y'all had the lead, like y'all had it. I mean, we had the lead at some point too, but I feel like with our game, it was more so like a shootout, like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We took the
Right.
lead, they took the lead, they took the lead, they took the lead. Y'all was like leading
In
for the majority of the
control.
game. Yeah, like in
Both games.
control.
Both
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
That's why I'd be like, we better. Then I can't say that though, because we lost. So it's like, fuck. I just gotta be quiet when Andy Reid talking. I'm like, damn. But that's another. I'll cry about it another day. We out of here.